I'm Nicole Wilkins, and I am four-time Figure Olympia champion. I just wanted to thank you for joining the chat today. I want to kind of open up this to any questions that you have in regards to training and nutrition or life in general. I'm currently in California right now, so it's pretty sunny outside, and I'm enjoying a few hours this afternoon to kind of catch up. Tomorrow I leave for Maryland, so I've been traveling quite a bit, but yeah, just wanted to say hi, and I'm glad I could spend an hour with you guys. So we'll go to the first question. It's like the first question is, did I hear correctly that you're starting your own clothing line? How awesome. If so, what sorts of items will the line have? The line actually has, it's fitness wear, so there's pants, capris, leggings, long sleeve shirts, tank tops, sports bras. So it's stuff that you can wear in the gym, but also things that you can wear with jeans if you want to. So I just launched it this week, and I will be taking it to as many events as I possibly can. So yeah, it's available now at NicoleWilkins.com. So let me know what you think. The next question is from Anna. What do you prefer for fat loss? Regular cardio, high-intensity interval training, or just basic interval training? I actually prefer all of the above. I think it's important not to only do high-intensity interval training all the time. If you're doing high-intensity interval training or HIIT workouts, the proper way, it should only last about 20 to 30 minutes. Because you're working so incredibly hard for, if you can go longer for a minute at the high interval, you're not working hard enough. So you want to go as hard as you can for a minute or less, and then recover for a couple minutes for about a 20 to 30 minute duration. Steady state cardio is obviously just setting a specific speed and pace and going. I mean, you can go for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then interval training would be as if you were, let's say you're on a step mill, and you go level 4, level 6, level 8, level 6, level 4, level 10. So you're kind of bouncing up and down in an interval format. However, the highest interval is never quite to the point where you cannot go anymore, which is what you would do when you're doing a HIIT workout. So I think a combination of all three is important for fat loss. The next question is, what is your solution to late night carb cravings? I find it relatively easy to eat very clean and keep the carbs in check during the day, but get intense cravings at night for sweet, starchy carbs or foods. One of the reasons why people might be craving stuff at night especially is if they're not eating enough during the day. So I would try to eat more of your calories earlier in the day and in the afternoon so that you're not waiting too long before the evening comes where you are so hungry that you are just going to grab the most convenient thing. Try incorporating more protein in your diet. Protein can help satisfy you longer and slow down the digestion of the carbohydrates. Fats will also help with making you feel a little bit more full. And also making sure that you aren't bored. So I know that if I'm in my living room and it's next to the TV and the kitchen and I'm just hanging out watching TV and not really doing anything, I'm going to want to keep myself busy, and through boredom is when people like to snack. Some things that I use are decaf coffee. I'll have a hot tea. Sometimes I'll snack on some raw veggies because they're low calorie. And but yeah, try eating a little bit more during the day, and hopefully that helps. The next question is from Crystal. How do you typically deal with back pain and muscle soreness? I actually had a lower back issue back in 2005. I herniated a disc in my lower back, and I will tell you that it is the most intense pain that I have experienced throughout all my sports and any injury that I had. Make sure that you are working out with proper form. Make sure that you're stretching on a regular basis. And I do highly recommend seeing a chiropractor or going to a massage therapist at least a couple times a month, just for maintenance and to make sure that you're aligned. And but typically, the reason most people get back injuries is a weak core or working out improperly. If you have a lot of weight in your stomach, sometimes that can shift the vertebrae and, again, cause lower back pain. Or if you're standing all day long improperly, that can also help increase back pain. So to reduce that, make sure that you stretch, make sure that you are working out properly. And as far as muscle soreness, stretch, which also will help with the back pain. Drink a lot of water. You can take an Epsom salt bath. Again, get muscle massage therapy. That can also help. So, and also glutamine. So if you're not taking any supplements, try taking some glutamine for muscle soreness. The next question is from Allie. My quads and hamstrings have gained a lot of mass since I've been lifting heavy. Is there a way to train legs without gaining any more muscle? And how often should I train them? If you want to sustain the muscle you have and not gain any more muscle, then I would keep your repetitions higher and decrease the weight of it to a more moderate weight. I wouldn't stop weight training completely because you want to keep the shape and you want to keep the fullness of the muscle. But if you're lifting heavy and you're keeping your reps lower to, anywhere from 6 to 10, then if you genetically can gain muscle easily, that isn't going to do what you want. So if you want to kind of decrease the muscle mass a little bit, keep your repetitions between 15 and 20, and do more giant sets and do more moderate weight and less rest between sets. Albert. Hi, Nicole. Are there any other sports you like to follow or get into other than fitness? I like to watch basketball games and I like to go to baseball games in the summer, but I'm going to be totally honest with you. Anything that has to do with a piece of equipment, a ball, a bat, a racket, I have absolutely zero coordination. Anything that has to do with body weight, like gymnastics, although dance, I really don't. That's a whole coordination thing again. Rhythm, I don't have. So I did do track for a while in high school, and I really did enjoy that. But I think working out, weightlifting, maybe doing CrossFit in the future, just because I like the feeling of my heart rate getting so high I can't catch my breath. I like the challenge. So, but other than that, I think I'll stay on the sidelines and watch other people who are better at it. Next question is from Angie. Hi, Nicole. My hubby just started working out doing a beginner training program from Bodybuilding.com. What do you think is best for beginners? Just cardio or weights or a combination of both? And how many reps for beginners do you think works best? I think I think you need to incorporate all three: nutrition, weights, and cardio in order to be successful, whether you're a beginner or you're an advanced athlete. The duration and volume is going to obviously vary based on your experience. So if you're just starting out, if you can commit to 3 days of weight training, whether that's total body each day or an upper body, lower body, total body split, that would be the minimum I would recommend. And then as far as cardio, I would do 3 to 5 days of 30 minutes. And then if you really want to see progress, 80% of that is going to come with what you eat. For beginners, repetition ranges, 3 sets of 10 to 15 is pretty standard. What you want to focus on right now is making sure that your form is right and your mind-muscle connection is in tune with the area that you're training that day. So if you're doing biceps, you shouldn't really feel it in your triceps. So focus on the muscle group that you're actually training, and that's going to help a lot in the future. The next question is from Sherry. So this is a little bit of a personal question, but I will answer it. Nicole, have you ever ended up on your menstrual cycle during peak week or on the actual day of a show? If so, what did you do to combat the excess bloat? I actually have not ever experienced this, although I know a lot of people who have. I think part of the reason is because my body fat is pretty low, and I'm very anxious, and I've been training at a very high intensity. So I usually don't the week or month of the competition, but then as soon as I get back on to a more higher calorie diet, it comes back. But chances are, if you do have your cycle the week of a show, you can feel it a lot more than people can see it because you're lean. I would just be aware of the sodium that you're taking in. Make sure you're drinking water. Don't do anything drastic, and it shouldn't affect the way that you're placing if your body is already where it needs to be. The next question, will you post this video somewhere online? Yes, it will be on YouTube, so we are filming this. From Anna, if I want to improve my glutes, if I train it once a week, will I, if I want to improve my glutes, I don't know what you're saying. This is like a foreign, I think you missed a few words. Okay, if you want to improve your glutes, is it enough to train it once a week as a solo muscle or once a week with your whole legs? I mean, when you are doing squats and you are doing lunges and you're working your quadriceps, you are actually working your glutes. So if you wanted to hit your glutes on a separate day, if that's an area that you're looking to improve, then I would do a glute focused day where you're doing one-legged leg press, Bulgarian split squats, step ups on a bench, wide leg sumo squats, one-legged kickbacks on the cable crossover. So all those things are going to target your glutes even more. So you can do legs all together and then one more additional day of glutes focus. Hi, Nicole. Do you use any kind of pre-workout? If so, what? There are so many on the market, and I don't really know which one is best to use. My goals are to build lean muscle. So pre-workouts, I mean, obviously, yes, there are so many brands to choose from. One that I use on occasion is Amped by Metrex. And honestly, if you're eating whole foods, that can also do just as good, but pre-workouts can help increase blood flow. They can help give you better pumps, help you focus more, help you with recovery. Just some of them have creatine, which can help aid in building lean muscle. So I would give a few of them a try, look at the reviews, and then make the decision based off of what you feel is going to best fit you, which ones you like the best, which ones make you feel the best, but also make sure that you have a solid diet in place before supplementing. I had ACL replacement several years ago, and it seems no matter how hard I focus, I favor one leg, which leads to muscle imbalance or hurting my back. My knee can't support really heavy either. Do I have any chances of building strong legs and glutes? What I would do in your case is what's called unilateral training, where you do one leg at a time. So let's say you're doing leg extension. Lighten up the weight and do one leg at a time, focusing on slow, controlled movement. That way, you're not favoring one side or the other, because if you're using both legs at the same time, the stronger one may take over without you even realizing it. So doing one-legged stuff, walking lunges, making sure that your form is right. Don't add a whole lot of weight. It's more about the form and the volume that you're doing. So maybe increase the number of repetitions, and then slowly build your way back up. It's not a race. It's not a competition. It's making sure that you're building up the foundation before you're adding more weight. But if you do it the right way and you take care of yourself and you stretch on a regular basis, yes, I do believe that you can build strong legs and glutes again. Nicole, have you ever competed in the bikini category, or have you always done figure? with the amount of muscle I have, do you think I'd be able to compete in bikini? Actually, when I started competing, I did fitness. Bikini wasn't even around. I've been competing for 13 years, and I believe bikini has only been around for about 5. So there was no bikini option for me. But even if there was, I would have done figure anyways, because with my body type, I tend to hold more muscle and have more of a figure shape. So I did cross over and do fitness and figure for the first half of my career, and then decided that figure was the direction I wanted to go into because I was placing better in it. And yeah, so that's what solidified that direction for me. Hi, Nicole. What is your thought on cheat meals or cheat days? Thanks, Erin. I think that they can be very beneficial. But when you're starting out a program and you have a lot of body fat to lose, I would stay consistent with your diet. Cheat meals benefit, or refeeds also are very beneficial in kind of spiking your metabolism, shocking your body so you don't get used to calorie deficit for a long duration of time. It can help, relieve just the strictness of eating 100% clean all the time. It can provide more balance, something to look forward to at the end of the week, which could keep you focused during the week. I don't think that it's necessary to have one every single week for everyone. I think that it's a lot of trial and error, and when I do have cheats, it's usually a cheat meal and not a cheat day, because I feel like if I had a cheat day, I'd probably ruin a couple weeks worth progress. Next question is from Ricky. How do you personally control hunger or overeating while cutting? I think that is probably the most difficult part throughout the process of getting lean for a competition or just for decreasing body fat is the hunger part. You shouldn't be so hungry that your stomach is going to eat itself, but it's the unsatisfactory feeling that is difficult, and it's more a mind game than anything. Keep yourself busy. I mean, if you're wandering around the kitchen, counting down the minutes before your next meal, I mean, that's kind of crazy. So keep yourself busy. I think that keeping myself occupied and not, stressing myself out about what I can't eat, and realizing that this is a decision I made, and that helps. But keep drinking water throughout the day, and gum helps. The next question is from Anna. If you are counting carbs with MyFitnessPal, do you also count carbs from whey or chicken or peanuts? I mean, the carbs in whey protein is very minimal. It's usually only 2 to 5 grams. Chicken doesn't have any carbs in it, and peanuts might have a residual amount. But yes, every single carb that you take in during the day should count toward your total amount. If you are counting macros, even carbs in vegetables count, in my opinion. The next question is from Fernando. I recently went back to the gym. I have been working out in a circuit. I think I'm working too hard because I have been sore for 3 days and I haven't skipped the gym. Should I lower weight while I recover? I don't know how long you've been going without a break, but if you're sore for 3 days, that's not a huge concern. Sometimes if you have a really hard workout and you haven't been working out for a while, you could be sore for 5 to 7 days. But if it continues happening where you're debilitated for 5 days straight after every workout, then it's definitely probably a sign of, 1, you're pushing too hard, or 2, you're not properly feeding your body. If you're not eating pre-workout and post-workout foods, then that can, if you're not giving your body enough nutrients to recover with, that can definitely affect your the amount of time you're sore. But 3 days is not anything to really be too concerned about. But if it lasts for a whole week and it happens like that often, then I would say there's something else going on. The next question is from Manny. I am so sore after doing legs. When it's time to do legs again, I can barely recover. Any suggestions? I would do legs once a week. Legs are a very large muscle group, and it does take longer to recover than if you're just training arms, for example. But if you're sore, like I said with the last question, if you're sore for a week every single time, then you're probably pushing too hard, or you're not, fueling your body properly to recover. So try hitting legs every Monday, for example. You should allow at least 48 hours rest between leg workouts. But if you're hitting them really hard with high volume, then once a week is sufficient. The next question is from Gary. Hi, Nicole. I'm doing my first figure competition in May. Do you have any good advice for first-time competitors? If you are competing for the first time, the first thing I always recommend is make sure that you actually go to a show before you get on stage. I am always surprised at how many girls and guys decide they want to do a show but have never actually seen a show live. You need to know how the judging is done, what the posing looks like, the presentation round. You need to have a visual of what to expect. To go in blind is not smart. The other thing, you're obviously focusing on your training and diet, but make sure that you think about all the fine details. Your posing and presentation is huge. So if you're not practicing already, you need to practice ASAP because you only have, a couple months, less than a couple months. Make sure that your suit fits you properly. Make sure that you invest in someone who can tan you the right way, because if you're too light or too dark, that can also, or uneven or green, that can make or break placing, regardless of how good your physique looks. And also with your hair and makeup, I do strongly invest in a professional, even if you do it on your own, because it's a lot less stress you have to worry about the day of the show. So make sure you have all those things in place. Good luck. I have a question for my client. She is a woman, 30 years old. Her height is 162 centimeters, and her weight is 59 kilograms. She is afraid to squat. She is doing 4 sets of squats with barbells, 85 kilograms for 6 reps. The question is, how high can she progress? Her goal figure is physique. As far as how high in weight she can progress, that really just depends on I think that depends per person. There's a lot of factors that go into that, but I don't know why she's afraid to squat. I mean, squatting is one of the best exercises to target your glutes and shape your legs and give you, nice legs that all these women want. So, nice definition. So don't be afraid to squat, but progress takes a while, so be patient. If she's only been working out for, less than a year, then she's still like in the beginning phases, in my opinion. So don't rush progress. It takes time, and I think her progress can be as high as she wants. The next question is, what is the benefit of doing barbell deadlift versus dumbbell deadlift? Honestly, I don't really think there's that much difference. Barbells are a little bit easier to hold on to when you get to heavier weight, but they both will work the hamstrings if you're doing stiff-legged, and then if you're doing regular deadlifts, it's lower back, glutes, hamstrings. So they both work same muscle groups. It'd be like doing a barbell curl versus a dumbbell bicep curl. There's not a whole lot of difference. They still primarily work the same muscle group. Hi, Nicole. I lost about 40 pounds last year and did my first bikini competition and even became NASM certified personal trainer. I started my prep again for a show in June. My prep has plateaued. It has been plagued with 2 injuries, and I feel like I've lost motivation. How can I get it back? I think it's important to focus on recovering before doing a competition because you don't want to enter the show less than 100%. Depending on what your injuries are, I know injuries can be incredibly frustrating because you're limited with what you can do in the gym, but focus on what you can do. So work around it. If it's your arm, then you can still train legs. So you might be doing legs a lot. I hurt my shoulder last year, and although I couldn't do full ranges of motion with things when it started feeling a little bit better, I could do half repetitions, and so I did that. And I could still do bicep curls, so I did that. I could do tricep extensions, push downs, but I couldn't do overhead, so I just did those. I could do abs, I could do rows, but I couldn't do pull downs. So you figure out what doesn't hurt and you work around the injury. And increasing the blood flow, it can help with recovery. The blood contains the oxygen, the nutrients that you need to help with recovering injuries, and it helps keep you sane. And I think the worst thing you can do with an injury is to completely lay off the gym, especially if it's not your whole body. So do the best you can, and I hope that you recover fast. The next question is, what pre-workout foods would you recommend? From Crystal. Pre-workout, I recommend a source of protein, a source of complex carbohydrates, higher in fiber, and a little bit of fat. So a good source would be salmon with brown rice, or chicken with sweet potato and 2 ounces of avocado. So try to think along those lines. From Lacey, speaking of hair for competition, do the judges prefer women with long hair? I just noticed that hardly any women have really short hair that compete. I do kind of think that the judges prefer long hair, but there are girls that have competed and done really well with short hair. I just think it's harder to pull off. Think of a beauty pageant. You know, it's the same idea. You don't usually see a whole lot of really short hair girls. Victoria's Secret runway shows, you don't usually see a whole lot of really short hair, but I don't think that it can hurt you if you can pull it off. So, yeah. The next question is from Kristen. Hi, Nicole. Do you consume alcoholic beverages? Very rarely. I probably drink a handful of times a year, and I don't like the feeling of losing control. So if I do, it's usually a glass of wine on special occasions, but I usually don't drink very much, no. The next question from Teresa. Hey Nicole, I'm training for my first figure competition. I had my first setback yesterday going from 12% body fat to 13%. Has this happened to you before, and how do you overcome it? I don't ever test my body fat. I haven't tested it in over 10 years. I think that hydrostatic weighing and bioelectrical impedance done in a doctor's office can be the most accurate. But if you're doing skin fold or you're doing the bioelectrical impedance where you hold onto the handles or step on the scale, there's about a 2 to 5% error, so I wouldn't get too stressed out about that. And if you had somebody else do it, then the time you did it before, if you did it at a different time, if you ate, you drank water, if you worked out before, if you're on your cycle, if you're stressed, if you didn't sleep, all those things can affect the number. So if there's a 2 to 5% error, it probably just hasn't really changed that much. I mean, that's less than 1% difference. So don't worry. I'm sure you're doing okay. From Liz, what advice do you wish you had when you first started competing, say 10 years ago? It's a very good question. I would probably say a couple things. One, I wish that I would have not gotten so stressed out about a competition locally and enjoyed the process a bit more. I think it's kind of like, you know, getting ready for a wedding. You put so much effort into that one day, and then before you realize it, it's gone. So, you know, just taking in the moment and enjoying the process a little bit more, and not so stressed out about making sure that I was gonna win or whatever, not embarrass myself. Just, you know, give the best I could. The other thing is not reading so much information, because there's so much online and there's so many different ways to go about training for a show. Pick one person to listen to and follow that one person, so that you don't get mixed up, because one person could say you need to have this carb, or you're not eating enough, or you should be doing this cardio, why are you running so much, you know, and then you get so confused, you're not really sure which direction I need to try, and everybody is different. That's the most challenging part. So stick with one method, listen to one person, and follow it through. And if at the end you feel like it wasn't what you wanted, or you didn't look the way you needed to, if you are completely honest with your prep, then at that point make a change and go a different direction. But that would be my advice. Hi, Nicole. I saw you have a member section on your site, NicoleWilkins.com. If we become a member, what kind of exclusive content do we get? So I recently relaunched my site last March, so it's been about a full year, and I wanted to create an exclusive member section so that I could put content in there that is much more detailed than what I offer through the videos on FitnessRx for women with the fit tips and the Q&As. So it's $10 a month, and within that you get full-length workout videos. So we actually take a camera to the gym, and the workouts are about 45 minutes to an hour, so you can see the weight I use, the intensity I train at, how many sets, how many repetitions. There's also, I just did a photo shoot, so I told you the breakdown of my macros, you know, how much cardio I was doing, what supplements I was taking, how much cardio I was doing, what type. I also incorporate recipes. We do day in the life of what Nicole's eating, so the camera comes around and, you know, shows what every single meal is. I have videos on there about, you know, correcting your form and traveling and eating healthy, and I mean it's really loaded. We have print and go workouts in there, so you have workouts for every body part. I just recently did a blog, 5 cardio workouts to incorporate during your week. So I really try to put up content that I think will help anyone in their journey, whether you're a beginner or you're a competitor or an athlete, or you're, you know, 70 years old or a teenager. You can benefit from some information that I have in there. And then there's a comment section, so, you know, the members that are in there do comment, and then I answer their questions. And then once a month I do a member Q&A, where I take the questions that people ask throughout the month, and I do like an hour-long Q&A in more detail. So yeah, for $10. So yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a lot of work. We post content a couple times a month. So hope you join. The next question is from Alan. My body fat is 16%, so my main focus is fat loss, but keeping or even increasing muscle mass. I have heard cardio first thing in the morning in a fasted state or late at night with little or no calories afterwards are my best options. Any advice? So if you're at a calorie deficit and you're doing a lot of cardio, it's going to make it much harder for you to increase muscle. But what you can do is try to sustain the muscle you have in the process of losing body fat. I am a fan of fasted cardio, but I wouldn't do it you know, at a really high intense pace, and I wouldn't do it for longer than, you know, 45 minutes or so. But I think it varies from person to person. If you are the type of person who gets lightheaded or has zero energy in the morning, but you can work harder in the afternoon when you've had a few meals in you, then do it in the afternoon. I mean, there's probably about a 5 to 10% more body fat burned if you do it fasted, but if you're working harder and you're burning more calories later, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. So I think it's personal preference, but be careful not to do too much because your body is not going to be able to pull from anything but muscle if you have no fuel in your body. The next question is from Teresa. Nicole, I work out for about 2 hours per day, strength and cardio, starting about 4 a.m. before I go to work. How important do you feel it is to eat before that type of workout, heavy weights, and typically HIIT style cardio? I absolutely think that you need to eat before that. If you're doing 2 hours of workout with heavy weights and HIIT training and not eating before, you aren't, I don't know how you last, unless you're eating a really large meal before you go to bed to help, sustain you through that. But I definitely, absolutely recommend you eat something before you train. The next question is, I am 16 years old and I have been bodybuilding for a couple years now. I feel, I have trouble putting weight on. I am eating protein. Sorry. I'm going to start over with that question. I am 16 years old and I have been bodybuilding for a couple years now. I feel that because of my age, I have trouble putting weight on. I am eating protein, carbs, fats, but I can't seem to break past a certain weight. Do you have any advice? I think that regardless of your age, you can put weight on. It depends on how many calories you're actually taking in and what your macro breakdown is. I mean, I'm sure you're eating protein, carbs, and fats on a regular basis, but if you can't break past a certain body weight, I would try tracking your meals. So track your food in a program like MyFitnessPal or online. There's so many fitness nutrition apps and trackers, and that will give you a better idea of what you are actually taking in. You may be taking in less food than you think, and that will give you a better breakdown. And then if you want to gain weight, then I would try increasing your carbs from that number and or fats. So, but do it gradually so that you don't gain a whole lot of bad fat fast. The next question is, I almost saw all your videos at Fitness RX. You are so awesome. Thank you. I wonder when is the best time to have a cheat day after an intense workout to go into the muscle or on a day off to shock your body even more. I usually recommend having a cheat meal on an off day. That way your body can soak up all the calories, and then the day after, train the area that you want to focus on improving the most. So, for example, if I'm trying to build my lats and I want my back to be wider, I would have a cheat meal the day before, and then later in the afternoon the next day, I wouldn't do cardio before. I would keep all the food in my body so that it would push into the muscle during my back workout the next day. So that's what I would recommend. The next question is from Christy. I'm a newbie to bodybuilding, but I'm hoping to compete within the next 2 years. I don't have a gym and cannot afford a personal trainer. Can you give some advice to anyone just starting out? I'm feeling very overwhelmed. Well, before you end up competing, if you don't have a gym, do you have equipment at home that you can work out with? I mean, I'm not sure what you're actually working out with, but I do highly recommend going to a gym or finding a gym nearby that you can go to on a regular basis. And competing is not cheap. So I would definitely start saving up now if you want to, because the suits and the cost of competing can be kind of pricey. But bodybuilding isn't the only goal you can have. I mean, you can work on getting on a solid training schedule, working up to training 4 or 5 days a week, understanding how to structure a workout program. I mean, those are basics that are really, really important that you should be following for at least a couple years before even deciding to do a competition. Competition is definitely more of an advanced stage in your training program. And then as far as diet goes, that needs to be very structured. You need to understand what a carb is, what a fat is, what a protein is, and be aware of what portions are, and how much food you should be taking in on a regular basis before deciding to do a competition, because you really need to like eating healthy foods. The next question is, I've been doing weightlifting for about 9 months now, and I haven't had any protein, and I don't really have any interest in getting any. Could this slow down my rate of change? Um, yes, I mean, protein is the building block of muscle, so I think if you're not seeing the progress you're looking for, that could be the reason why. Protein is important not just for muscle, though, but for um, you know, properly feeding your body and the benefits that come with protein in your diet. So, sure, you are eating protein. It's very difficult not to have any in your diet. Even vegetables have some type of protein in it. From Peter. Hi, Nicole. Should I stretch before or after a workout? I have been out of the gym for a year. What is your advice? I would stretch after your workout. So before you train, I would go on a piece of cardio equipment and do about 5 to 10 minute warm up, and then go to your first exercise and then do a lighter weight for about 20 repetitions to get the muscle warmed up before actually starting to increase your weight. And then after you work out, when your body is warm, then stretch. You'll be able to go deeper and you won't injure yourself. I also saw that you partnered with Jen Hendershot to host fat camps. What do those entail and where do they take place? Is there one coming soon? Yeah, a few years ago, Jen Hendershot, who was two-time Fitness Olympia champion, asked me if I would be interested in taking over Fat Camp. So Fat Camp was founded back 13 years ago by Jen, and I've now taken over the business. It's a fitness weekend for women only, so we start Friday and go until Sunday, and we train every muscle group with weights. We do cardio together. We do nutrition seminars. There's instruction. You get workouts to take home. We have lunch together. It's a really fun weekend for women of all athletic abilities. We have, you can check out the dates that are coming up at getfat, PHAT, with Nicole.com. And the next one is next weekend in North Carolina. And then we also are going to Chicago, Vancouver, Vegas, trying to get one in California in August. So yeah, there's a lot of really great girls, and they keep coming, they keep recurring, so it's awesome. From Dan, do you find it difficult to transition from competition form to a more natural body fat composition? There are several fitness competitors at my local gym. If I didn't know they compete, I would never have guessed it by their out of competition physique. Um, yeah, I think at first it is a little bit of an adjustment because you can't sustain the amount of body fat that you have on stage all year round. It's really not that healthy, but it's also not healthy to gain 40 or 50 pounds in the off season either. So if they're unrecognizable, that's not a very healthy thing. You want to make sure that you're still eating good, solid, healthy foods all year round, just different amounts, and then not having pizza every day, because obviously that's not going to make you look very good. So moderation is key. From Sherry, what is one of your favorite exercises for glutes? Well, I would say my number one exercise for glutes would be squats. So making sure that you go slightly below parallel to target the glutes is one of my favorite. Lunges, of course, always. Walking barbell lunges, reverse lunges off of a step. Bulgarian split squats, which are lunges with your foot on a bench behind you. Those are all some of my favorites. The next question is, Are you a flexible dieter or do you follow a meal plan? From Allie. So I would say that I am a flexible dieter, but 90% clean. So I do incorporate, I do count my macros, but I don't have a lot of processed foods. So I definitely choose whole, healthy foods almost all the time. And then I do have like a cheat meal once a week or a refeed or every other week, depending on how I'm doing in my progress. So I think you have to find what works best for you and what you can follow. There's so many different ways to go about getting in shape, but it comes down to how much you're actually taking in at the end of the day. Hi, Nicole. I am a bikini competitor wanting to move up to figure by September, willing to work very hard to gain the muscle I need. I'm 5 pounds from stage weight, wanting to keep my leanness. I'm currently doing heavy, light split with 2 to 3 movements. Okay, I don't really know what you mean by 2 to 3 movements, but if you mean 2 to 3 exercises, then I would probably increase your volume. I like to do, about 5 to 6 exercises for each muscle group, major muscle group, like back, shoulders, legs, and then for smaller muscle groups, for arms, I usually do 3 or 4 exercises for each. So if you're trying to build muscle, I would try increasing your volume, and that should help. But good luck at your show. The next question is from Kristen. Is the pack and hack method most effective for gaining muscle and competing in figure? My trainer had me gain 30 pounds after my first show, but I feel so fat even though I know I can lose it again with cardio. Is it necessary to gain this much weight? I don't think gaining 30 pounds is necessary unless you were really skinny at your first show. I think depending on your height and how much muscle you have, solid 10 to 15 pounds in the off season is sufficient enough. If you gain 30 pounds, you're just going to have to make sure that you prep longer so that you don't kill yourself with cardio and decreasing your calories so much to get that weight off that you end up losing the muscle you built in the off season so hard. So I don't think it's necessary to gain that much, no. From Kelvin, with my job, I switch from days to nights, 13 and a half hours every 4 months. The days and hours I work aren't consistent. If I work out on off days only, is that okay? I used to work out routinely 6 days a week. Mentally, it's been tough with my schedule. I give you guys so much credit for those of you who have night shifts. I don't know how you do it. I would probably work out either before you go to bed or when you first get up in the morning. Regardless of what time that is, your morning would obviously be night. So the hours that you're awake, whether that's in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day, I would eat every 3 hours, and then I would train during the time that you have the most energy. If you train shoulders, I would give your body at least 2 full days before hitting that same muscle group again, and then make sure that you're focusing on sleep. And that's really the hardest part, because sleep is when your body recovers the most. So just think about the times that you're awake, picturing it as if you were to actually be waking up in the morning and then going to bed at night, even though it's morning. Does that make sense? Hi, Nicole. This is Detroit Alicia. Want to hear something crazy? Last year, I worked legs up to contest and looked swollen and smooth. This year, I plan to lay off legs and do only cardio exercises with upper body. I don't want to look swollen legs. Should I work my legs? If so, how? I think it's a big mistake not to train your legs getting ready for the show. the reason you might have looked smooth on stage, if you trained your legs a couple days before getting on stage and they were sore and you had lactic acid buildup, sometimes that can decrease the amount of definition you have. So I would have your last leg workout at least a week before stepping on stage. And also it could be because your body fat wasn't low enough. So if your body fat is still a little bit high, then you're not going to see the definition you were hoping for. But I think it's a huge mistake to lay off such a major muscle group because you're going to lose the shape and it actually might look even smoother. The next question is from Stephanie. What is your opinion on the paleo diet? I have no problem with the paleo diet. I think it's personal preference. If it works good for you, then and something that you can maintain for life, I think that's the mindset you need to have before beginning a diet is this something that I can sustain forever? Obviously, if you're going to do a great food diet, is that something you can do forever? Most likely not. So if the paleo diet is making you feel really good, it's giving you good energy, it's giving you the body that you want, then I don't see what the problem is. I heard you are going to win your 5th Olympia this year. Is this true? Well, I will tell you that I will train my absolute hardest to do that, but you never know. So I'm just going to focus and start my preparation for the Olympia in mid-June. From Maribel. Hey, Nicole, this question isn't very fitness related, but I was just wondering how many pairs of running shoes you own. I began to notice that you wear a different pair in every picture and became very curious. This is really embarrassing for me to admit, but I would say I probably have between 80 and 100 pairs of tennis shoes. And it's been a collection that I've had for a year, so I didn't just all buy them recently. But yeah, it's kind of a problem. I don't really buy anything else except that, so that's my excuse. The next question is, what is the best technique to preserve muscle mass while cutting, as it is my first cutting cycle? I didn't put that much weight on during bulking, so how to keep them on or maybe increase if possible? Mohammed. Best techniques to preserve muscle mass when cutting is making sure that you do it very slowly. If you cut your calories drastically and you increase your cardio a tenfold right away, that's a surefire way over the long duration to lose muscle that you work hard to build. Also, keeping your protein up, making sure that you don't do too much cardio or, like I said, decrease your calories too low for too long. So. The next question is, who are the athletes, coaches, or mentors that inspire or motivate you? I would have to say, honestly, like I can't really name off anyone in particular. I think that I motivate myself, and that sounds kind of cheesy, but motivation to me comes from within. Like I can read all the books and I can have the best trainers and have the best support system, but if I don't actually have the motivation to do it myself, I'm never going to see the changes that I want to see. So the motivation to improve has to come from you first. And yeah, I look at other sources through social media and friends in the industry who I are very into what they're doing, and they're progressing in a good direction, and they are living the fitness lifestyle, and those people motivate me. Even random people that take selfies in the mirror, I think it takes a lot of confidence to take a selfie, and it shows that they're proud of themselves, and that motivates me because they're shooting for their goals and they're achieving them. So that's awesome. But yeah, I think anyone who is setting a goal and reaching it motivates me. Do you ever plan to visit Russia with a seminar or fat camp? There are a lot of your fans here. Yaroslav. Thank you very much. I actually don't have any plans as of right now to do a seminar or camp there, but who knows in the future. Problem is, I wish there were more weekends and more weeks in the year to go. So we will be putting the schedule together for seminars and camps and stuff toward the end of the year. So if you have any, if you would like me to come to your location, shoot me an email. Nicole@NicoleWilkins.com is my direct email. You can email me, and we can see what we can work out. From Pam, how do you feel about meal timing? I work out at 6:30 a.m. and I'm not hungry until around noon, but I've been forcing myself to start eating at about 9:30 and eat every 2 or 3 hours from there. Is it important to eat on a schedule or get all the food in? I think both. I think it's really important to eat around the times that you require the most energy. I mean, you've got to fuel your body after your training and before your training. So I think it's important that you eat post-workout, absolutely. And then I think also people run into problems when they wait too long before eating again. So let's say you eat lunch and then you don't eat again for 6 or 7 hours, and by that time you're starving. That's when most people make poor decisions. So I think meal timing can be very beneficial for keeping your blood sugar more stable, help preventing you from being so famished you make bad decisions, and also help with strength and recovery during your workouts. From Stacy, any tips for competition hair and makeup? I had the stylist and makeup artist do it for me last time, and I feel like it was a bit too much. Very drag queenish. Stage makeup is actually kind of too much. It should be that way. It shouldn't be what you wear on a regular basis. The eyes are very dark, typically with eyelashes, and the makeup needs to match your skin. The skin color is very dark, so it should look overdone. And I think for hair, more natural is better, but I usually like to tease up the back so that it doesn't look flat on my head, and I wouldn't do anything super crazy that is distracting from your physique. So those are my advices. And the last question is from Alicia. What do you eat between prejudging and finals? And when do you eat your carbs? I water and sodium deplete throughout until it's over, but what do I eat? This is going to be very different from person to person, but I actually did film what I ate 24 hours leading up to the Olympia last year, so you can get an idea of everything I ate in the members section on my website. But I honestly eat carbs at every meal, so it just really depends on how lean you are, what your body type, how much muscle you have, all that stuff. So I don't really know unless I was working with you. I'm sorry. All right, guys. Well, that was the hour, so I appreciate you so much for joining in on the Google Hangout. You can email me. You can check out my website, NicoleWilkins.com. See me at events throughout the year, and keep in touch. So I hope you guys all train hard, and I will see you very soon.